Welcome to today's Life Coach Pod show. It is what day is it? It's Thursday, I think. And it is, getting over to the right thing. I'm in a different room today because they're trimming the trees out front. And I'm so tired of the noise, hot mess out there. So I'm from the back room of the house, which is actually a super cool room, but we haven't fixed it up yet, except for Katie's plants. So at least it's a nice match to what's on Melissa's screen as well. Our guest, Melissa Santangelo, and I'm going to have her to introduce herself in just a second, but I'm going to do the usual and take us through a few current events for our time capsule moments as we all come to realize we're at the end, almost at the end of a week, and I don't even know what happened to this week. It's super weird to be sheltering at home for those of us in California, and now many other states are joining us. And the first thing I wanted to share with you is really interesting. It's that the warning signs are a warning sign of potentially having the virus, and that shouldn't, I hope you can't see that. Let me just move that out of the way. One of the warning signs for potentially having the virus is losing your sense of smell and your sense of taste. And I learned two new words, and that's what I wanted to share with you, because these two words are what we use to describe the sense of smell and sense of taste loss. So here we go. Here it is. Sorry. And the reason this is happening, they think, is because where the virus settles in first is in your upper respiratory area, and that is what is associated with taste and smell, which I guess I didn't really realize that before. So here it is. The loss of sense of smell is called anosmia, A-N-O-S-M-I-A, anosmia. That might be the name of the movie that comes out about this. And a distorted taste of sense is dysgeusia. So there you go. Now you can sound smart. That's D-Y-S-G-E-U-S-I-A. What folks have reported is that they've noticed their sense of smell or their sense of taste. A lot of people said food suddenly started just tasting weird, was essentially when they is correlated with infection, and you may not be symptomatic yet, but it potentially means you're going to become symptomatic because already there's some stuff going on here in your upper respiratory area. I don't want to freak anybody out. I don't want you to panic, but just be aware of those two symptoms because it could really make a difference how quickly you want to protect yourself, prepare yourself to take care of yourself if you're alone or if you're caring for other people. So those are two symptoms to look for. All right, we'll move on to a little bit of a downer, but we're going to go on with one more thing that's a downer because it's fascinating. CNN has today on their site a 3D image of this man's lungs, and it's amazing to look at. First of all, I'm just amazed that we can do this kind of imaging at all and be able to see inside somebody's body that has the virus, what they're showing in this 3D image of the lungs. And again, go to CD, just put in CNN and 3D image of lungs. They're showing the level of the infection. But what I thought was super interesting about this is that we're learning now, the doctors are learning that people who thrive, who make it through the virus, still may have lung damage. We've heard about this. I know anybody who's listening to the news might have heard word of this, but it is in fact showing up. And this 3D movie shows you how much the infection just spreads. It kind of goes around the outside of your lungs first, as you might expect, as it's coming and moves towards the center. And it is not forgiving. You can see why people feel like they're drowning or that they cannot catch their breath, because the infection really takes over the lungs. That's if you're one of the people that has this go sideways. So again, please stay home. That's the biggest ask here. Everybody stay home, stay with the ones you love. Somebody published a tweet today that said, hey, Anne Frank managed to stay indoors for 2.5 years in a tiny, tiny single room. So we can certainly get through this. And I'm encouraged, and that's one of the reasons I'm doing this Life Coach Pod, is to provide access to other information and bring other people on who are homed, and then we can share our expertise and the lessons we've learned from life. The last thing I wanted to share, and this one's, I'm sorry, there's a random story that I didn't put on my list, but I've got to tell you this story. An unnamed woman went to a store in Pennsylvania and coughed on $35,000 worth of groceries. She did this. Well, in the story, they say as soon as her mental health treatment is over, she'll be charged. that's disconcerting to me that she has a mental health issue and somebody let her out and she thought this was funny, but they had to throw away $35,000 worth of food. You can Google that and learn more, but holy crap. I'm sharing that because first of all, it's a little bit twisted and it's really sad, but also just be aware, just keep your eye out. I wish somebody would have tackled this woman, knocked her down, done something to stop her before she ruined all this food. But we all now, we're doing our own community relating and taking care of each other. So everybody be on the lookout, everybody who's smart, be kind. All they needed to do was walk this woman back out of the store and say, no, not today, not today. Okay, the last story I want to share is deep and heavy. And so and this is a cue up to what Melissa's going to talk about a bit as well. There's a great opinion piece, I think it would be, on a publication called medium.com. And it's called, It's Time to Emotionally Prepare for What's Coming. It's actually written by a Hasidic Jew who is in New York, and that cluster of people, the Hasidim there in New York, have been hit fairly hard, probably because they were worshiping and studying together closely at the beginning of this and didn't realize that the virus was spreading. So he calls himself a progressive Hasidim, which is like kind of funny to me because they typically are very, very conservative. But what he says here in his article that's very, very powerful and leads us right into our discussion today is that he is already realizing we have something called anticipatory grief. And I know today, I just saw an actor who's died from coronavirus. He was an older actor, but he's been in a ton of little things. He was also in Desperately Seeking Susan. But I see that and I just get sad. I'm worried about Amy Klobuchar's husband, who's on oxygen right now. We know people are sick. We all first reacted to Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson. It's this very intense thing happening. And we suddenly start to feel sad and scared for people that maybe we don't even know who are getting sick. God forbid it's getting to the people we know. So his steps here, and I'll just read them quickly and then we'll get into this discussion, is first to accept that anticipatory grief is normal. So that's that fear and that trepidation we feel. For me, I feel it in my chest where I'm just like, oh my God, I'm worried. I got to keep my mom safe. I've got to keep my daughter safe. That kind of, and what would I do if they died? That's right. Who hasn't had that thought right now? What would you do if someone you loved died? The next is to acknowledge the loss. So if you have actual losses, you might be pushing them down. It's okay to feel sad even about movie star people. It's real. We've had an emotional connection with them. So acknowledge those losses and then connect with others in whatever way you can. My mom knows she gets a FaceTime call from me no matter how bad my Wi-Fi is. I do that in the morning. And we talk about absolutely nothing and mess around with our Alexas. That's our fun. Remember that anticipatory grief doesn't mean you're giving up. So just with that sadness, you're not saying I'm throwing in the towel and I'm done. You're just knowing that you are, actually I feel it's really good that you're capable of that kind of compassion and empathy to have that sort of grief, but realize it doesn't mean you're giving up. Reflect on the remaining time. So if someone you know is sick and in the hospital, think about what you can do with the time you have. Probably the worst thing about this virus is how many people have to die alone. I mean, almost everyone, unless people are staying at home. And they're anticipating this may change in New York as they are no longer able to serve all the people who are sick. They're offering them the option to just go ahead and pass away at home, which is a Sophie's choice I don't think any of us have ever thought we'd have to make. To decide, yeah, I'm so sick and they can't save me, so I'm going to stay here with the people I love. That might be something we get to, especially as we watch Florida, Louisiana, today, Alabama, and I suspect shortly Mississippi really light up. We've got it going on in Washington State and California, but we're all sheltering, so we're seeing the curves start to flatten, which is really good. Communicate. So talk to people. Just don't hold it all inside. If you're a writer, then write if that's the way you need to communicate, but do what you can to communicate. Take care of yourself. Super, super important. Really the bottom line of what this podcast is all about. In any way, how to take care of yourself, even if that means taking care of your animals or crocheting or whatever it is you need to do, take care of yourself. Take advantage of your support system. Your friends haven't gone away. They're out there. They will listen to you, be inane. You can call them, you can talk to them. That's what we're here for. Say yes to counseling if you need it. There are a lot of resources now online where you can get counseling on the phone. If you're really struggling, I want you to take advantage of those. Remember, if somebody passes and you feel like relieved about that, that's okay. That's really normal. A lot of us have watched our relatives or sick people or older people die and know that mix of the pain of the loss and the relief that they aren't suffering anymore. It's absolutely normal to feel that relief. And then the last thing here is, don't assume just because someone's sick, you know what the outcome's going to be. We have a pretty good sense of it, but his advice is, we all have a different reaction to grief. You don't know how you're going to process grief. You don't know how people's lives are going to end. You don't know what could happen. So just accept this and maybe don't assume that you absolutely know the outcome. I've been accused of being a fatalist before sometimes because I feel like I can just so clearly intuit what's going to happen, but sometimes I'm wrong. So that's the point, is don't assume you know how it's going to go. I'm bringing these up for you to think about because we're in weird times and we are experiencing feelings like we've never had before. And that actually leads right into introducing Melissa, who I have known in Santa Cruz County for a while. I was thinking it might be at least over a decade. She has been my massage therapist, and I delight in enjoying sharing Facebook with her. I get to see what she's doing up at her place, which is in Felton, California. And I'm going to turn it over to Melissa and have her introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. My name's Melissa Santangelo, and I have a persona that I call the Groovy Goddess. That basically, a Groovy Goddess is something that everybody has inside. And my job for the last 16 years is helping people find that within themselves. I feel like I'm trying to help people become authentic, because the more authentic you are, the more fulfilled your life is. And I own a spa, like she said, up in Felton, California, where I do treatments in person. Not right now because we're sheltered in place. Right now I'm kind of switching gears to online. I can do some things online. I do sound healing and meditations and yoga and, you know, just spiritual counseling, things like that.
So Melissa, what emotion? We're talking about emotion today.
Yep.
And I know you've prepared some information to share about feelings and how important that is for what we're going through right now, managing how we're feeling and what we put out there.
One of the things I've been trying to put out there right now is that we have 5 bodies. Okay, we have our physical body, which everybody can see, feel, touch, right? That's your physical body. We know that's there. But there's 4 energetic bodies. You have the emotional body, the mental body, the wisdom body, and the bliss body, okay? And everybody kind of knows, you know, when you think things, that's your mental body, right? And that has a vibration and it has energy to it. Your emotions, you can tap into how you feel. That's your emotional body, right? And you can also shove those emotions down, or you can actually face them, but it's there. And then the wisdom body is just your knowledge of spirituality, and that there's an energy plane around us that has something to do with us. It interacts with us. That's your wisdom body. And then the bliss body is when you're just in total alignment, you're in peace, you're plugged in and you kind of get it, you're conscious, you feel very blissful. And you can move between all of these bodies. These bodies can all be in balance at the same time. They can all be out of balance at the same time. But if we start looking at ourselves as having 5 bodies, it will really help. And then within that, you can kind of tell where you're at. So I don't know if anybody's heard of the emotional wheel, and I don't know if
put it a little bit closer. That's cool. And I'll get a copy of this, guys, and I'll add it to as a link.
Put it up. So it's an emotional wheel, and it basically, in the middle of the wheel, so it's 3 parts, right? In the middle, it has sad, happy, surprised, bad, fearful, angry, or disgusted. Okay, and then the wheel around in the middle, and all the colors correlate to those words.
So those are like the fundamental fundamental gut feeling kind of thing? The
Yeah,
core?
so
Okay.
so let's take sad. So sad, if you feel lonely, vulnerable, despair, guilty, depressed, or hurt, that's part of sad.
Wow.
Okay. And then you can even go out even farther and go embarrassed, disappointed, inferior, empty, remorseful. Sorry, I got to turn it. Powerless, grief, fragile, victimized, abandoned, and isolated. Those are all parts of sad.
So that came, so sad being the fundamental, and then as you look out, it gets, the complexity increases as you move out from the center, is what I'm
Right.
hearing.
And
Okay.
this will help you because, you know, let's say somebody hurts your feelings and you're like, wow, I feel very hurt. You know, I feel powerless. I feel ashamed. And then you can say, okay, well, those feelings really point to me being sad. Okay. And then where is sad?
Yeah.
Where is your vibration? When you're sad, where is your vibration sitting? So I have another chart. This is called
Cool.
the emotional intelligence vibrational chart. So sad is, where is sad on my chart? Grief. Grief is sad, right? So grief, you're down here in suffering
So you're
when you're sad.
way down at the
So
bottom.
your
Okay.
vibration is low. When your vibration is low, you can lash out at people. You're not thinking clearly. It's really not good to make a decision in that place, right? Your immune system is down because your vibration is very low. Law of attraction says that whatever our vibration is, we're attracting that all day long. So if you're out in the world and you're in that place of sad, you're attracting a lot of more sadness to you. You're attracting maybe people that are sad just like you, right? And you talk to them and they're like, things suck. Yes, it sucks. I'm so sad. You know, you may cry together. You know, you're attracting these low vibrations. And what you want to do is take this information and raise your vibration, right? Because you want to be up here in the happy, the peaceful, the enlightened. When you get up to a place of courage, you're just getting by.
Wow, courage is just getting by. So meaning
Yeah.
I can take it. I can at least go out and be there, be present.
And that's a good place to be because you're moving up the ladder. If you were sad yesterday and you're courageous today, going, I'm gonna beat this. You know, I'm protecting myself. I'm gonna beat this virus, right? I'm staying in. I'm protecting myself. I'm, you know, doing what I'm boosting my immunity. I'm taking these sad thoughts and I'm working out, or I'm doing something to get my vibration a little higher. And now you've reached courage. You're doing good, right? And then if you can work on that a little bit more and get up to acceptance, like, you know, the first 2 days we were shocked. What is going on?
Yeah.
Oh my God, right? And then you get to a place where you're like, all right, I guess I'm home. That's acceptance. Acceptance gets you back up here to flow.
Oh, good. Okay, so dealing with it, like accepting it, like, okay, I can cope. This is a new reality, but it's not, I'm not suffering.
Well, and you accepted it. You started a podcast. You're like, what am I going to do? I'm at home. Well, this is what I can do. I'm accepting my situation. And so the flow is happening, right? You see that?
Yeah.
So I'm all about, we got to raise our vibration. And one way to really do it is sound healing, because sound is vibration, music, movement. Like these are things that are going to help get you through and help move you up the chart.
So for someone like my mom who loves Quiet Riot, she needs to blast that for a little while and dance her booty off.
Yeah. And like I would say, okay, so I'm going to say this. So tomorrow at 9:00 on Facebook Live, on my Facebook channel, I'm going to do what I made up 10 years ago, a chakra dance. Okay. It's 7 belly dance moves. I feel like you can do it to any music. You don't have to do it to, you know, relaxing music or rock music, or it's whatever you want to do. So yeah, put on the Quiet Riot. If that's what's going to raise your vibration, go for it. you know?
And the chakra dance then is to energize your whole body
Yeah,
to
and
move every.
you're moving your body, you're moving your spine, you're moving each part. I took belly dance for about 5 years, and I know about the chakras, and that's kind of how I heal myself, is through the chakras. Um, and I realized that some of these dances, some of these moves hit the area of each chakra. And so I just kind of made this up, and I've done it and put it out there, and people always feel better after doing it, especially if you could do it to the music you love, right?
Yeah, I love this idea of, because so I know the other day you had a hard day. I mean, a lot of us gig workers, and you're a gig worker like I am. We've got clients canceling.
Yep.
We are dependent on our relationships and our ability to go out and serve others. And I'm wondering, did you dance the chakra dance to get out of the funk, or how did you
I
manage
have been
it?
doing it. You know why I've been doing it? Because I haven't done it for a while. I kind of like put it on the back burner, and it's always like a thing. I'm going to put this out there really big, and I don't know when, right? But the other day I was like, 2 days of sitting on the couch watching Netflix, right? I'm going, okay, my hips hurt, and so I've been doing it every day. And I'm like, this makes you feel better. Even if you don't understand the chakras, believe in the chakras, like it's also moving your spine, it's moving your hips, and it's getting you to turn on the music
Yes.
rather than maybe just watching TV all day. Because we need vibration. We need healthy sound healing vibration. You need to move your vibration higher to get you through this.
It's interesting because I think it's actually almost been a time we've been a little bit afraid of our bodies. We're afraid of a cough. We're afraid of a stuffy nose. Do I really have a fever? What's happening? Last night at around 7, I was hit by a huge wave of fatigue, and I thought, uh-oh. But there's no way I could be sick. I haven't been out of this house in 2 weeks. There's just no way. And yet I still was afraid of my body, because right now that feels like that's the enemy, right?
Yep.
That our body's going to get sick and we're going to be trapped.
Yep.
And so this idea of connecting, I personally do like chakras. I think they're powerful, but this idea of connecting, however it is a person wants to connect with their body and to find that alignment with their brain is really powerful.
Well, everybody understands how to feel their emotions, right? Even blocked people, they feel the emotion and then they block it. Okay. They don't like it. It's uncomfortable. Okay. So everybody kind of knows. So if you can take that feeling, look up the chart and figure out where you're at, then you'll kind of know it. And isn't knowing information, doesn't it make you feel better? When you know information, when you can go, okay, I'm sad and that's not good because it's got me down in suffering. I mean, it just makes you feel better that now you have something in your control. I can raise this. I can get myself to, to happy. So the one thing I want to talk about is being bored.
Yeah, that's
because a lot of people now are experiencing bored. Now, bored is a very negative. It's a negative emotion, and you don't think it, right? Because it's just, I'm bored, but it is negative. So bad on my wheel in the middle, bad is an emotion, and then it's tied to bored, even busy, because being overly busy is not a good thing either. You're running yourself down, right?
Right.
Stressed, tired. Those all are fundamentals of bad. And then you have indifferent, pressured, rushed, overwhelmed, out of control, sleepy because you're not getting sleep, and unfocused. That's a bad emotion. So we all have said, I'm stressed, right?
Right.
So that tells you that's not good for you're kind of just getting by. You're not really thriving. You don't have that flow coming in, because we're moving to more energetic times. Okay, we're going to really be in those energetic bodies more than our physical body. It's going to be more important to us as we go into the future, and the chakras are going to be more important to us, because that's another way of figuring out where you're at.
So can you talk just for people who are like, Okay, you guys are from Santa Cruz, and
I know.
how nice for you, you crazy Californians, where all the nuts and fruits and nuts are, right? Although, I don't care what your belief system is, the idea behind the chakras is really about energy and getting clarity and really helping your whole self be more than just a meat suit, right? It's just, we got to be more than our meat suit. And
Yep.
so when you're talking about the chakras, actually, if you could take just a minute, if you feel comfortable, just talking about them so people can think of how it would apply in their, how they think about things.
Yep. Okay. So I actually have a meditation too online called the chakra meditation. I think it's free. You can look it up on, and I filmed it really nice, and I kind of give a little explanation, and this is what I say. So the root chakra is located at the base of your tailbone. Okay. It's at the base of your spine. The root chakra is the color red. Red is all about physical foundations. So the root chakra in your body is your bones, your teeth, your nails. It's the foundation of your body. Okay. The root chakra is all about grounding to the earth plane.
Yeah, grounding. I've really associated with grounding. Like that's the thing.
Grounding. It's your house. It's your foundation. It's all of that. Okay. It's being attached, being grounded on the earth and attached. Okay. The sacral chakra, which is below your navel, is the color orange.
I always have to think about it. It's like you could, it's almost, for women that have children, it's almost like where you first feel like there's a baby in there.
It's all about the sexual reproduction organs. It's all about pleasure. It's all about diet and exercise, right? So if you're like going, oh, I really need to diet, I really need to exercise, I guarantee you your sacral chakra is out of balance. If you're thinking that you need to really hone in your exercising and your, or if you're not having pleasure, because that's the pleasure center of the body, then your sacral chakra is out of balance. Okay, so these are ways to figure out if you're in or out of balance. The solar plexus, which is located right under the breastbone, that's our sun. Okay, that's the color yellow, and that's your personal power. Okay, that's your sun inside your body. And just notice people that fall forward and walk around, they don't sit up straight. I guarantee you their self-esteem is very low because they're in their physical body already showing me that they're very low. They're condensing that chakra. It's not flowing, it's out of balance. You want to be always lifting up. That's why in yoga, you lift up.
Lifting up and taking that breath and opening your chest. And
that's your sun. That's your energy center. That is your potential power, potential power. Have you ever dated a guy where you're like, God, they have so much potential? You're picking up.
Sorry. Okay. For those of you that have dated a guy with so much potential, good for you.
I say this all the time. You have so much potential. Why are you not living up to your solar plexus chakra? Right? So, think about that. Are you living up to your potential? Sit up straight.
Sit up. Yeah.
Let out that sun. Okay. So that's the solar plexus. Then we have the heart chakra. The heart chakra is the center of our body. It is our heart. This is where we hold unconditional love. This is where if you're giving, you deplete because you're giving too much. You need to give to yourself first before you give to others to keep that heart chakra healthy, and to keep it thriving. Then you have the throat chakra at the base of the throat, and the heart chakra is green. Okay, that's the color green. Okay, that's why healing is green.
Green, yeah, I like that.
So the throat chakra at the base of the throat is light blue, the light blue color. Your throat chakra is all about communication, creativity. If you are not being creative, you're cutting off that throat chakra. If you can't speak, if you talk like this, if you can't really project, that throat chakra is out of balance. Okay. Then there's the third eye. The third eye is a darker blue, and that's your intuition.
And that's here, right?
Yeah, that's your intuition. That's your inner vision. The pineal gland, is right here in the brain. And then the crown chakra they say it floats a little bit above your head. That's your spirit. That's your wisdom, your higher power. You know, in the 12 steps, you know, if you're in addiction and you're in the 12 steps, they talk about the higher power. That's the crown chakra, and the crown chakra is purple or white, depending on what people think.
And I'm used to doing meditations that focus on going from that root chakra at the base, grounding yourself, and then really lifting spirit out through the top and trying to tap that spirit that's out there to bring it in and give you that strength and wisdom and intuition.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, that's why, you know, right now we're being asked to really take care of ourselves and look at ourselves. You know, what's going on with your emotions? Are your emotions out of balance? You know, if you're constantly overthinking, your mental body is out of balance. Like, we need to bring all of these bodies into alignment and balance.
You know, it's interesting that you talk about that, because there's an article that's going around in the Atlantic about there's two types of people right now, the people who are healthcare workers and those of us who are staying home and doing our part. But actually, I've been watching what I feel like are two different kinds of people in the world, those that have this ability for compassion and absolutely believe saving lives and helping each other is the most important motivator, and then those who are motivated by other things like money or personal aggrandizement or other things. And I feel like we're really separating the wheat from the chaff. And those, I'm hoping when this is done, and we're going to lose people that do have compassion, but I'm hoping that a lot of us with the compassion, empathy, and this desire to care for one another are the people who survive this.
Well, that's what's happening. And that's why I say the more you can raise your vibration, the more you're going to get through this unscathed.
Yeah, you can even tell the healthcare workers, as they're putting out their desperate pleas for personal protective devices and stuff, something still motivates them to go. And they know they found a nurse dead in her home, and her 4-year-old child was in the house, not knowing why mommy was dead. So that to me is the ultimate kind of compassion and empathy. Like, this nurse served. She was so motivated. Yeah. And I hope that child has.
But she depleted her heart chakra.
She did. Yeah, it's true.
And that's, you know, me, because I've been a healer for 16 years, and I feel like this is my calling. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I actually feel like for the last 16 years, I've been testing for this. Like, I feel like this is my time now to step up and teach this stuff to people, because this is what the knowledge that we need to get through. And early on, I really, really found out that I can deplete myself really fast doing this work, and that I had to make it a point to take care of myself first before taking care of other people, and put myself first. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have lasted 16 years doing this.
This is so important for people listening who are the caregivers right now, even if it's just doing homeschool, trying to work from home, and then also making sure everybody's getting a decent meal, and stop fighting in the front room, kids. Like, that all is exhausting.
Make sure that you can go somewhere in your house and get your alone time. I mean, I'm lucky and I'm not lucky. I live alone. So it's great. I can access my whole house all the time with nobody else, you know, but then I'm lonely too. You know what I mean? It's I'm like, oh, people have families, they could be playing games, and here I am by myself. But it's great because I can just do self-care all night long, you know?
Yeah, I know. Well, there's a big countdown clock going for when Katie and I have actual real blowout. So far, so good, though. So far, so good. But yeah, it's true. You're either by yourself or you're with people, and both have their advantages and disadvantages. Yeah, but your point about self-care is so important for anybody managing a menagerie right now.
I mean, on the plane, they tell you put the mask on yourself first before you put it on other people. And, you know, if that nurse maybe had some more boundaries, maybe, and put herself a little bit before other people, she probably would still be alive for her 4-year-old.
Maybe. Yeah, I know. I hate to second guess what happened there, because the tragedy is the tragedy, and that we left a good one. But I take your point very seriously, which is, guys, everybody has to take care of themselves right now, even if it feels pointless. then you got to get out of that bad energy, and we got to get you vibrating, and we need
Yeah.
to get you doing Melissa's dance tomorrow, which I'm going to get a link to and put on
Okay.
the webpage so that everybody
It's
can
gonna
get
be
that
fun.
link. Because it does sound fun. And do you have any more closing thoughts? Because I would like to see if there's any questions from anybody as well.
No, go ahead and ask some questions.
So anybody that's on the line that would like to ask any questions, now is the good time to do that.
Hey, Jen, it's Donna. I do have a question.
Hi, Donna.
Hi there. I am a big fan of Elizabeth Van Buren essential oils, who's just down the road from you there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I've
I
been
know her personally. She came and got a massage from me once.
well, and I was going to say maybe Jen can get her on here to talk about this
Yeah.
stuff. I've been using lavender, but is there any other? I assume you use essential oils in your massage therapy. Is there any other ones besides lavender? I've been tending to put lavender on every day to kind of stay calm and grounded. And
Yeah, definitely. So I've been putting in my diffuser some eucalyptus, some tea tree, and some frankincense.
I have all those perfect.
Because they're antiviral, antibacterial, and steaming with any of that is good too, to get that all in your nasal passage and stuff. And then frankincense is a great oil or essential oil because it helps with inflammation. So if I have inflammation in my joints, I rub it in my joints. Frankincense is amazing.
This is so interesting to me, because just when you mentioned the eucalyptus, and Donna, that was such a good question, because just that smell can transport me to a spa in a minute.
I know.
Like, it just makes me feel special, and I don't have to do anything, but I just feel, ooh, I'm special right now. So that is a great idea. And we forget about the power of smell and sense. And even, you know, it can be so moving and so life-changing just to have a good scent.
Yeah, definitely.
So thank you, Donna. I'm going to actually look into having her as a guest.
And rose. Oh, rose. Rose is the highest vibrational scent and the highest vibrational flower. Like, you can actually take rose petals, hold them in your hands, and meditate with them, and it'll absorb all the negativity. But the rose scent, so whenever I have like a broken heart or I feel heavy in my heart, I wear rose, I spray it on me, I smell it a lot. So rose is a really good one too.
And there's no reason everybody can at least go outside. If you walk your neighborhoods, you're going to find a rose.
Yeah,
so you can go smell the rose, you can beg for the rose. But that is something that everyone should have access to without really having to go to the store.
Yeah.
And it's good for grief. And they also, Elizabeth Van Buren has a compassion blend that has that in there, and that smells really, really good.
Yep.
Oh, I love this.
Awesome.
Thank you. Are there any other questions?
Does everybody know about oil pulling?
No, what is oil pulling?
Okay.
Tell us.
So oil pulling is it's an Ayurvedic thing, right? They do this in Ayurvedic medicine, and they use sesame oil, but you can use coconut oil, and you just take a spoonful of it and you swish it around for as long as you can handle, up to 15 minutes, and then spit it out. And you want to
swish it around in your mouth.
Yes, don't swallow it.
Okay.
Swish it around in your mouth. So have you ever got oil on the carpet?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden that spot just becomes dirty and you can't get it out and it's filthy. Well, the oil is taking all the dirt and stuff in your mouth, all the bacteria, and it's collecting it. And then when you spit it out, you get it out. And if you can manage swishing it around for up to 15 minutes, you will be blowing your nose like crazy afterwards. You feel everything from your congestion. It all goes.
And you can do it with coconut oil or sesame oil.
Yes, and it whitens your teeth. It will help your oral health. You won't get sick anymore.
But how do I get the yucky oil out of my mouth when I'm done?
You just brush your teeth.
Okay.
Just brush your teeth afterwards, or sometimes I swish with another thing like hydrogen peroxide or something. I'll swish with it. Yeah.
Coffee. A really good coffee. Coffee. Okay, that actually, now I'm going to try that. Okay, guys, we went full Santa Cruz on this one. But
I know.
What the heck? You're stuck at home. Why not try some things that are going to make you feel better and that are going to be good for you? I cannot think of a single contraindication to that. So
my dentist noticed. My dentist was like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm oil pulling," and he didn't believe in it, right? He was like, "Whatever." And I'm like, "But you noticed something?" You noticed a difference in my oral health, so it must have done something, and I noticed. And I just don't get sick. If I feel like I have a sore throat, I'll swish 3 times a day for a couple days, and I don't get sick.
That's okay. So I'm going to give it a try because I've been fighting a little congestion, not cough, but just congestion.
Yeah.
It might actually help me get this stuff moving out.
I get allergies now really bad, whereas I used to not get allergies, and I'm in the redwoods. So like if I'm cleaning up a lot of debris, you get all congested from that, and I'll oil pull and it'll go away.
I love it. Well, Melissa, thank you so much for joining us today. This is great. I'm going to put links on the website for what's the things that she talked about. I'll get a copy of those documents that Melissa shared. And then tomorrow we have Heidi Kwarenkowski coming up. She is a behavioral coach. She coaches people with anxiety disorders. She's going to bring some tips on how to manage anxiety. And if you're a germaphobe, I can't even imagine what you're going through right now if you have issues with germs. So I want you to make sure you come tomorrow and hear what Heidi's got to say. And then we have, I just want to make sure you know how to connect with me on Twitter. We have a good time on there. It's much more contemporary, and we talk BS about all kinds of things, politics, bad TV, everything. So please join me on Twitter. And I want to thank everybody for coming today. Thank you so much, Melissa. It's really been great.
Thank you. Namaste.